Yo, Diddy here, Limitless, and as you can see we're AOR round 4 here today at China, and this is probably my second strongest track in the game other than Silverstone. I've loved this track. I loved it last season on the previous games as well, and I'm feeling pretty confident around here. I haven't got a pole position yet this season, something I want to get pretty soon, and I think this is a good track to start off at. Just the pace in qualifying, practice, just the race pace especially as well. The race pace is usually better than the quali, but particularly around here, and as I said, Silverstone just seems to be pretty good. So just warming up on the out lap here. This is my first lap. I haven't done a lap yet, no one has. As you can see, there's always quite a few cars we have to keep behind in the first lap, as we almost actually come to a stop at the end of the straight here. But yeah, just aiming to just try and get a good first lap in. Try and leave a bit of a gap in front of me, not because I think I'll catch people, but I just don't want to get distracted by people, so that's why I leave quite a big gap. And here we go, we're going to start the lap. Got a pretty good exit onto the start finish line, and yeah, as I said, all I want to do is just try and get a good banker lap in, pretty much. If you can just get that good first lap in, it just eases the pressure off a bit for the rest of the session, because the last thing you want is trying to get a good lap in when you've only got one lap left to go. But so far so good, looking pretty confident. But I just got running a little bit wide off that corner there. You want to be taking a bit of a tighter line through that corner to get on the throttle a bit earlier, but nevertheless we've done a 25.1 first sector, so pretty good first sector. My best is a 24.9 somehow, but normally a 25.0, 25.1 is a pretty good first sector. So far the lap's looking pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good in the session, just feeling confident really. I'm not really feeling too much pressure as we may go a little bit wide in that corner. We could have gone a bit tighter to the apex, but this double right, or double left sorry, is pretty good. As you can see, I'm playing around with the fuel mixtures quite a bit, as you'll need to do, particularly around this track. I think this is one of the most heavily used tracks we have to change the fuel mixtures. And 54.0 middle sector, which is a okay middle sector, so the middle sector wasn't particularly brilliant. And as you can see in front of us, we've got two cars going side by side, and I'm on the chat at the moment asking if they're on a lap or not, because the last thing I want to do is just get held up before the start finish line. And luckily someone's just let me pass there, so they obviously haven't had a good lap, and we've actually gone into first gear there, which I never normally do, because I went into 8th gear behind them, and it just caught me off guard how many gears I had to go down. And got a really good exit off the final corner here, going on the DRS line, and it's a 35.7. So I have to say the first part of the lap was good. I went a bit deep into the hairpin at the end of the lap, but as you can see, a 28.9 middle sector is not a good middle sector. Normally a 6 or 7 is a pretty good middle sector, so I was pretty confident I could still improve in that lap, but nonetheless, it's still a good time. Like, not many people do get into 35, so on provisional pole at the moment, but I expect Brozak, who's currently in second place, to possibly challenge me. And actually Jason, Maisie and Leobot, they're pretty quick around here. I've seen them do mid 35s as well, so pretty hot contest for qualifying at the moment. And as you can see, we're just over half a tenth up, so we've done a 25.0 first sector, so this is more like it. On this lap I was just hoping I could just keep this lap together, because it feels pretty good at the moment. Completely flat out for his left, and for the right, let's see if we can stay nice and tight this time. And yeah, it's a much better line than what we did before, so the lap's feeling pretty good. And at this point your heart's racing. I was sweating quite a bit, and we just make a little bit of a mistake on the exit there around the curve, so it's not really going to help us too much. And we're a tenth and a half up now. It's a tenth and a half up and a 35.7, so looking like we could actually get a 30. Oh, and we just completely blown up and just bottled that corner. So but people who say the pad's got traction, there's evidence for you that the traction is not completely there. You can bottle it. So managed to get the pole in quali. I think Brozak didn't have a good qualifying session, but very, very happy about first pole position of the season, and obviously the best place to start. So my game plan for this race, as I do for every race, is just to maintain the lead and try and break DRS, and hopefully just use my pace that I've used in practice, which looked and felt pretty good compared to other people. Hopefully we can just stay out of DRS and just extend the gap. So here we go, 5 lights, and away we go. So straight away I'm moving straight over to the right hand side, because I want to defend that first corner, and I'm being very aggressive here, being very defensive, but just leaving just enough room and make a slight bit of contact there. But Minty's still going down my inside. We've got to leave the door open for him just in case he tries to hold around outside, but we've managed to just secure first place just about. So I was very aggressive on that first corner, as you can see there, but I left him just enough room, and I was just trying to put it towards him, of him making the decision to try and stay committed, because I was fully committed to defending that first corner there. So you just got to send that message out. You just got to show you're completely committed, not back out at the last second. So it paid off for me there. So yeah, we're in the lead, and we just got to keep consistent. And right now I'm just trying to get into the rhythm of the race as usual. Normally I'm quite a slow start, but at the moment it's going pretty nicely. I'm feeling pretty confident in the car and in myself as well, and then the apex is quite nicely so far. And as you can see, we're running and lean through the twisty sections of the track, because around here it's a pretty difficult, as you can see, we actually almost lose the car there. So this track's really difficult on traction. It's probably, I'd say, actually the hardest track on the game for traction. So you'll be seeing me using lean mix quite a bit in this race. As you can see, Minty getting in our slipstream. He's not going to make a move. As you can see him run a little bit deep there, but yeah, this track is pretty difficult on traction. So you'll be seeing me changing the fuel mixtures quite a lot in this race. So right now, a pretty good first lap, and we're breaking a little bit away from the others. So it's me, Minty, and Jason in third. He's doing an awesome race at the moment. He's got really good pace around here, and Ellis in fourth. So quite a few drivers have got really good pace around here. So this race isn't going to be as well, I wouldn't say easy, but as simple as I thought it would be, because everyone seems to be pretty close at the moment. So it's all about just trying to break that DRS now, just not making any mistakes, and see basically who cracks under pressure first. So this tracking in the race was pretty bad in dirty air. So Minty through this left-right section, it's pretty awful. So he could be suffering with the turbulent air at the moment. We just got to make the most of it. We just got to push as absolutely as hard as possible. And as you can see in this lap, we're driving pretty well, and we're going back into Rich again. And I think Minty has just been caught out with a Doyette there. So this is our chance, and we've got a 1 second gap at the moment. So we've just got to push absolutely crazy for this next lap to hopefully get out of the DRS zone. And we're in lean, and I'm going to Rich for this straight. And I can tell you, I do this pretty much for every lap, and I don't run out of fuel until the end of the race. So I can just keep going in lean through the twisty sections, which actually, well, the reason why I actually do it is because it just helps with traction, really. The traction is really bad in that standard and Rich. You don't want to be going off corners in Rich mix, because you'll just be wheel spinning. And plus, it makes your tyres last longer as well. So reducing that wheel spin, saving more fuel, and just getting better traction. So you're doing three things that's going to benefit you. And as you can see, we've done a 37.2 on lap 2, which is my fastest time I've ever done in race pace, which is a pretty quick lap. And as you can see, we've extended the gap to 1.5 seconds. So we're out of that DRS zone. And right now, it's looking pretty good. If I can just keep consistent and just keep my head in the game, then it's looking pretty nice for the race. And we're skipping towards lap 9 now, because I don't want to show you any boring bits, and I can tell you we're just being mega consistent at the moment. We're just doing pretty quick times. We haven't really made any mistakes, and we've extended that gap to 3.2 seconds. So the pace is looking pretty good. I'd say this is probably my best race pace I've done all season so far. So lap 9, the tyres are slowly starting to go off. As you can see, I'm just doing what I'm usually doing. I'm going to lean for each corner, for the same corners each lap, and then going back into Rich again. And you'll see, going for this long left-hander, I'll be going back into lean again. So that was my strategy for the race. I planned it out before I did the race, and I saw it worked, and I just stuck to it in the race, and it just seems to be working really well for me at the moment. I don't know if anyone else is doing that same thing as well, but I'm just getting better traction as well as getting the faster straight line speed as well. So hitting two birds with one stone there. And as you can see, we are still doing pretty consistent, and we've extended the gap to Minty to 3.9 seconds. It's 3.2 at the start of that lap. So you can see there the benefit of going in lean mix. Like I said, when your tyres go off, as you can see, my tyres are getting a bit worn now. It's so good going in lean mix, because it just helps you so much with stability and just your traction. So we're going to be pitting in a slap. We're going to be pitting for the option tyres. The prime tyres are not really that too different around here. Like they're definitely more durable, but the difference in pace is about half a second or so. Like whereas compared to Bahrain, it was about 1.5 seconds. So go on the options again just to get track position. I just feel having track position is just so crucial, especially in a league race situation, because it just gets inside the other drivers' heads that they've got to catch you, and you don't want to be giving away seconds or like tenths in the middle of the stint. You want to be extending that gap, and that just pretty much just kills their challenge to try and catch you, and that's what I recommend. Just always try and do the best strategy for track position rather than just trying to. It's good having the options at the end of the race, but if you've got a gap to close down, then a big gap to close down, it's going to be pretty difficult. So coming out in 5th place on lap 10, I think the prime runners, Leobot, Broziak, I think is actually starting on prime. He qualified an option, but you can actually change to the prime tyre at the start of the race. There's no rules in AOR at the moment. We can actually change tyres if you want. But yeah, he's starting on prime again, as he did with Bahrain last race, and you could see it worked really well for him at the end there. But as I said, I don't think the difference is too big, so he's going to have to push pretty hard at the moment as we come across the line to complete 11 laps. And I believe all the prime runners have come in. No, they haven't actually. There's still 2 prime runners out, which is, I believe, Cryo Lockdown and Leobot. So Broziak's pitted, and I'm guessing he'll be doing 2 option stints now. So he's got a lap fresher tyre and option, so not a really big advantage. And at the moment, I think he's in about 6th place or something like that. So he's quite a way behind. I was quite concerned about him because obviously he's a very good driver, and he's my main championship rival at the moment. And we're going purple at the moment, and these are option tyres, and the gap between me and Leobot is 3.4 seconds. And just keep an eye on that gap towards the end of the lap, because he's on old primes. He's on about 11 lap old primes. I'm on new options, and you can just see how much I'm catching him at the moment. It's crazy how much new tyres, like the brand new options, is compared to the prime. But on the same lap freshness tyres, it don't really seem to be too bad. You can see the gap is 2 seconds, so we just caught him by 1.2 seconds in one sector, which is pretty crazy. Going purple again, so this is, I can tell you now, this is going to be my fastest lap of the race, because I'll be gone on the prime tyre for the last stint, and they are a bit slower. They're about half a second on the absolute maximum, the maximum laps you can get out either tyre in comparison, but obviously more consistently the option tyre is probably going to be a bit more than half a second lap quicker. As you can see, we caught Leobot so much on this lap. I was praying he was going to go into the pits, and luckily he does. That kind of distracts me a bit, but we get the DRS actually, and we've done a 36.8 on lap 12, which is a pretty quick time on option tyres. So at the moment things are just going perfectly for me. I think just having that experience from Bahrain of leading the race, and also Malaysia, just being in that net first place position, I think it's just really helped me, because before Malaysia I never really had that experience, and right now I'm just being really consistent, and as you can see, within the same tenth of a second in the first sector. So we're pumping in pretty quick consistent laps at the moment as we go skip towards lap 18. So this is a lap where I believe I'm going to pit, and I can tell you now the laps have just been really consistent, and we're just putting away about 3 to 4 attempts a lap at the moment from everyone else. So our pace is just really good at the moment, and I'm feeling really confident for the win. I think Broziak is still in about 5th place or something like that, so he's not really making too many inroads on these newer option tyres. It don't really seem to be that much of a pace advantage. As you can see, we'll just go for the prime tyre. I felt like I could have done another lap, but I don't want to sacrifice any time to the guys behind. I'd just rather have that track position and even get an undercut if they decide to go for a lap longer. But I just felt, just to play it safe, I know primes can do about 10 to like 13 laps, so we should be comfortable towards the end as we go into a lean mix, and we are going to select the prime tyres. So this race has pretty much gone pitch perfect at the moment. As I said, this track along with Silverstone are my best tracks on the game in terms of just me being comfortable, and it's paying off here at the moment. So going into this last stint, we have about a 7-second lead on Minty, so as long as we don't blow up or lose our wing or get a puncture or disconnect, then I was absolutely praying we disconnect at this point, then it should be pretty good, as Jason and I believe Broziak has continued. So right now we just keep it consistent. We've only got 10 laps left. I know this race hasn't been particularly the most exciting, but for me, I would have more races like this where it's not as exciting, because having results of this is pretty good. So I think all the prime runners, all the runners in front of me have actually pitted now. So we're in first place again, and just go through first sector split to just see what the gap is behind us. And yeah, this car around here and the setup I'm using, which is the China setup I had at the start of the game, which I've put in my video as well, it just works really, really well around here. That 11.6 balance just provides really good turning, and just as you can see, my traction, I know I'm on the pad, but the traction is really, really good as well. And also to let you know that it's actually all pad runners in this league now, because Fizzy Van has gone to F3 because he was the only wheel user left, and yeah, he just felt it'd be a lot better if he went into that league, because wheel users against pad runners, especially around this track, is pretty awful. So I wish him the best of luck, but just to let you know that everyone is a pad runner in here, so I don't have any advantage over anyone, which I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for, as I did before. So just showing you the last 2 laps of the race, and as you can see, we're being so consistent at the moment. We're within the same tenth of a second again, and let's see what the gap is as Minty goes across the first sector splits. And Minty's having a really good race. He was really, really quick around here, and he's done 12.5 seconds behind. So we've gained on the same lap tyres as him. We just kept on leaking out that gap. I don't know if he's made a mistake or something, but we haven't really made any. I haven't made any mistakes this race, and this has definitely been the best race of the season for me. So it's looking good for 4 out of 4 at the moment, and I never thought I'd have that to the start of the season. But yeah, right now I just want to just bring it home to the flag, just praying that I don't disconnect. And as you can see, we just gained half a second on Minty in that sector there. So the fuel mixture tactic is just working really, really well at the moment. And yeah, it just, I never really expected it, because I know a lot of people say there isn't any, or like the likes of Matty G and like Noble have left, but I can tell you now, these drivers who are in this league are massively underrated, because Broziak, Minty, Jason, those drivers and Leobot, they're pretty quick, as you saw in the last season and last 2 seasons as well. They're not exactly drivers you should take lightly. So I take quite a bit of pride in actually doing this, like how I'm driving at the moment. I think it's just because last season, towards the end of the season, I was just so worried about disconnecting or something, or lagging out or something like that going on, that I wasn't really focusing on my race that much, and as a result of that I was just making more mistakes. But right now I just feel everything is just really falling into place for me, and I love making videos at the moment, and I know my connection is really, really reliable. It's really, really slow with a 0.3 upload, but my ping's like 3 ping or something, so the connection reliability, I haven't lagged out in this connection. So that means I can just focus on the race, just focus on the laps and the strategy, and not having to worry about those things you can't control. And that's good for me, because I know everything's down to me now, and I just feel like I'm just driving to my pretty much my potential at the moment. So it'd be good if like Notable or Matty G was in this league as well. I think that'd be really good, but at the moment I feel I'm driving the best I've ever done throughout any F1 game, and at the moment around here it's showing it pretty well, because I was expecting myself to have a really good result, but I did not expect myself to put in these kind of lap times and this consistency. And yeah, it feels really, really good at the moment. So coming on to the last lap now, I know this race hasn't really been action packed, but I don't want to show you like the boring stuff of me just doing the laps lap after lap again. But as you can see from my last 2 laps there, all the tyres are starting to go off now, but that before I got within the same tenth of a second. So the consistency has just been that lap after lap. I was pretty much within the same 2 to 3 tenths for every single lap until my tyres are starting to go off towards the end of the stint. And we've got the gap now to 13.6 seconds. So we've only got 3/4 of a lap now to go before we can hopefully take the win. I'm not saying anything yet in case my Xbox freezes, which has happened recently, but luckily I've managed to clear my system on the Xbox, and that's managed to resolve that. But yeah, just praying I don't disconnect, and still doing the fuel mixtures. As you can see, the last lap I was actually went into -1, so like I said at the start of the video, towards the end of the race, doing that fuel mixture strategy does actually make you go into -1, but this track seems to be quite sustainable on the fuel. It doesn't really seem to use that much even in rich, and going in standard you're actually saving fuel. So yeah, this track is yeah, not too bad. And we're coming towards the last straight now, going to rich again. I just want to get the absolute maximum out the straight, as Minty is still maintaining the gap, and Broziak has made a quite a good comeback, and I believe he's on options again. But the options, as I said, they're not really as dominant as they were at Bahrain. So if this was at Bahrain, I could see him maybe potentially actually getting quite close, but luckily we are going to hopefully navigate this last corner pretty well, not to blow up on the bollard or anything. And here we go, we've actually won round 4 out of 4 in AOR. So yeah, pretty happy with that. I was expecting myself to do pretty well around here, and hopefully, well, I'm glad I've actually gone up to expectation as we win the race by 13.4 seconds. So yeah, it's a really good result. 4 out of 4 wins, 100 points, a perfect start to the season. I can't get any better than that. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this race, my commentary. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and cheers for watching, and see you next time. Cheers.